Hello everyone. So we have finished with one chapter. Hope you have done all the homework and the writing work also. Of course you might have understood the chapter. If you are having any doubts you may ask. Okay, it was an easier chapter. Now today I will be starting with Science 2. Okay, the next paper. Science 2, Chapter 1, Heredity and Evolution. This is the first chapter. It is a small chapter comparatively, okay, and very easy to understand. Okay, the weightage is also less compared to the other chapters in the paper. Okay, so about heredity and evolution. Heredity, what is heredity? Heredity is the transfer of characteristics from parents to offsprings. Okay, you might have wondered, you know that you have some properties similar to your father, you have some properties similar to your mother. Okay, you got it from your parents, or you might be having some properties which your grandparents have. Okay, so those properties are transferred from one generation to the next. That transfer of characteristics from one generation to the next is called as heredity. Physical, the transfer of physical and mental characteristics from the progeny, from the parents to their progeny. Progeny means the next generation. From the parents to the progeny. I repeat, the transfer of physical and mental characteristics from the parents to the progeny is called as heredity. This we had studied last year. Okay, if you don't remember, you may refer to the 16th chapter which you had in 9th standard. These terms have been given in the textbook. Okay, you may revise it from that chapter and then enter into this chapter, because it is a continuation, like, okay, several points have been repeated but they haven't explained it in 10th standard. Okay, now the term heredity, what is heredity? Just now I told you, it is transfer of characteristics from parents to their progeny. Okay, now what is variation? The next point is variation. What is variation? Variation means some changes which are present from one generation to another generation. That means you don't exactly have all the properties of your mother and father. Some properties you have on your own. Understood? They are the variations. So there are variations which are there from generation to generation. So one generation is not exactly the same as that of the other, but they have similar properties. Okay, so scientists, now we know about gene, now we know about chromosomes, now we know about DNA. But earlier scientists were not knowing about DNA, about chromosomes, about gene, what is gene. Understood? So scientists started studying that, observing that some characteristics were transferred from one generation to the next. Okay, now the study of those characteristics which were transferred, okay, was then named as genetics. Now what is genetics? Genetics is the study of gene. Genetics is the study of chromosomes. Understood? At those times the term gene was not known, and the term chromosomes were not known. They were knowing that there is something which is getting transferred from one generation to the next. That is why the next generation is getting the same properties. Isn't it? Okay, so they termed it as a factor which is transformed, the characteristic is transferred, and so on. So what is the study of gene called as? The study of gene is called as genetics. The next term is trait. Trait means characteristics. Okay, in your textbook you might find this word several times, trait. You may write and keep what is meant by trait. Trait means characteristics which are shown by an organism. Okay, the characteristics which is confined to that organism, that is said to be a trait. We all belong to the same trait. Now the next is monohybrid cross. You had monohybrid cross last year, do you remember? A cross with one characteristic is called as monohybrid cross. The example for that, a tall plant and a dwarf plant, do you remember? Now there are two chromosomes for one characteristics. You wrote it as capital T for tall and small t for dwarf. Understood? So why did you write capital T two times? Because there are two chromosomes. Why did you write small t two times? Because there are two chromosomes. Okay, so there is a set of chromosomes of two, a set of two chromosome for each characteristic in the body of an organism, whether it is a plant or an animal. Okay, hope you have understood. Now the next is dominant and recessive. Dominant means which is shown in every generation. Okay, dominant characteristic which is always shown, it is said to be a dominant characteristic. And recessive characteristic mean a characteristic which is not shown, okay, which is hidden, a characteristic which is hidden, that is said to be a recessive characteristic. So when a dominant and recessive plants, okay, one dominant tall and one dominant dwarf, they were crossed, you got a F1 generation, okay, which were all tall. Why? Which all of them were tall? Because the characteristic of dwarfness is a recessive characteristic and it was hidden in that generation. In the F2 generation, you had got 3 tall and 1 dwarf. So it was again shown in the next generation. So that means these characteristics are transferred from one generation to the other. Okay, so who found out it? It was, these experiments were done by Gregor Mendel, who is known as the father of genetics. Now in our syllabus, for the syllabus of 10th standard, you don't have monohybrid cross, but we are having some studies which come under genetics. Now in the first paragraph, okay, in the first paragraph of the chapter, they have given a history of different studies which were done in earlier years under genetics. Okay, now the study of these scientists are there in our syllabus. I have made it into a match the pair question. You may write this in your notebook and learn accordingly. Okay, now here you may see Gregor Mendel, he studied about heredity. Gregor Mendel studied about heredity. This you had learned last year also. Hugo de Vries, he was the scientist who studied about mutational theory. Now what is mutation? Mutation is the change in gene. Changes which occur in genes when they are transferred from one generation to the next. Understood? Mutation means the changes in a genetic material, changes in a gene, change in DNA which occur in DNA. It is said to be mutation. So this scientist studied about mutational theory. Walter and Sutton, I have written only the short names. Walter and Sutton, they studied paired chromosomes in cells of grasshopper. Okay, so Mendel studied that there was some characteristic, some factor which is getting passed from one generation to the next. Now these scientists, they found out that those chromosomes were paired. Understood? That is 2 chromosomes for one characteristic. Paired chromosomes in the cells of a grasshopper. Now the next is Avery, MacLeod and McCarthy. Now what did they study? Except viruses, all have DNA as genetic material. Now you all are familiar with the term virus now. Not the virus which is in computers, but the exact virus of biological world. Except viruses, all have DNA as genetic material. Okay. Now this genetic material, till then they were not knowing the term DNA, but there is a genetic material. Okay, and all the viruses does not have a genetic material. This was a discovery which they did at that time. But viruses have DNA. There are two types of viruses, DNA viruses and RNA viruses. Okay, Jacob and Monod, these were the scientists who proposed the model for protein synthesis. So this much part you are having in your syllabus, you could get as an objective question or as a match the pair question which I have given. Okay, you may copy it. Now, structure of DNA. Now for today I will be taking two topics, structure of DNA and structure of RNA, which is a revision part. You had this in 9th standard. You may revise it from 9th standard's textbook, the structure of DNA and structure of RNA. Okay, now structure of DNA. What is DNA? Now this diagram you had last year. This is the diagram of a chromosome which is there in last year's textbook. Structure of a chromosome. What is chromosome made up of? Chromosome is made up of DNA. Chromosome is made up of DNA. A DNA, this is a DNA. A DNA is a double-stranded structure. A DNA is a double-stranded structure. They get coiled. You might have observed a rubber band. If you coil it again and again, it turns into a small ball. Similarly, this DNA, they get coiled again and again. They get super coiled around each other to form a chromosome. So from DNA, a chromatin thread, you might have heard the term chromatin thread, which is present in the nucleus. From the DNA, the chromatin thread is formed, and this chromatin thread coils and recoils to form a chromosome, which is present in the nucleus of a cell, both in animal cell and plant cell. Okay, the chromosomes are present in prokaryotic cells also, but they don't have a nucleus. Okay, DNA, chromatin, chromosome, which is present in the nucleus. Now one more term for today is gene. What do you mean by a gene? Gene is that part of the DNA which codes for only one function. The structure, the formation of one protein. Okay, that means this much of gene, if this is the DNA, this much of gene will produce one protein. Will produce one protein. What are proteins made up of? Proteins are made up of amino acids. Proteins are made up of amino acids. So for this chapter, I will give you a protein which is made up of 3 amino acids, and it is in the sequence amino acid 1, amino acid 2 and amino acid 3. This is just an example. Proteins are made up of too many number of amino acids. In total, in nature, there are only 20 amino acids. Now I'll just compare it to the alphabets in English. In English, how many alphabets are there? There are 26 alphabets. Can you tell me how many words are there? Okay, so there are too many number of words which are formed with those 26 alphabets, isn't it? Similarly, there are 20 amino acids. How many amino acids in nature? Only 20 amino acids. With those 20 amino acids, they are arranged in a particular sequence to form a particular protein. Here there is a protein which we are taking as an example, in which there are 3 amino acids which are in the sequence amino acid 1, amino acid 2, amino acid 3. Now this protein is having this sequence. If the sequence is changed, it will be another protein. It won't be this protein. Understood? If the sequence is changed, it will be another protein and it won't be this protein. So the sequence is very, very important. So what is a gene? A gene is the part of DNA which codes for the synthesis of a single protein. Now this is a DNA. There are several genes. If this is one gene, this could be another gene. Okay, this could be another gene, and this could be another gene. So there are too many number of genes on a chromosome. There are parts on the DNA which are not expressed also. This is expressed to form a protein. Okay, the gene is expressed. That means it works. It does some work to produce a protein. But there are regions on DNA which do not express itself. That means they do not do any work, but they are still present in the chromosome. Okay, now this part is not there in the syllabus. Okay, it is for you to understand what is a gene, what do you mean by DNA, chromatin, chromosome. Understood? So hope you have understood what is a chromosome. We may move on to the next topic. Okay, now we will see the structure of DNA. Structure of DNA. What is the full form of DNA? It is deoxyribonucleic acid. What is it? Deoxyribonucleic acid. It is a double-stranded helix. Double-stranded helix. That means it consists of two strands which are wound around the other. It consists of two strands which are wound around the other. There are rails in between. Understood? There are rails in between. These are the rails in between. Okay. These are the rails in between. They are connected together. Understood? Those two strands are connected together. Now, if this strand, if we open it, this will be one strand and this will be the other strand. Understood? This will be one strand and this will be the other strand. So, one strand is made up of SP, 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 SP and so on. Okay. S stands for sugar, P stands for phosphate. S stands for sugar and P stands for phosphate. So the strands are made up of SP, SP, SP. This is one strand, this is the other strand. Okay. They are connected together. You may see there are horizontal lines in between. Those lines are made up of nitrogen bases. Okay. Hope you have understood. So the strands are made up of sugar and phosphate and the rails are made up of nitrogen bases. There are bonds in between them. Okay, like hydrogen. You might have heard about ionic bond, covalent bond, like those. There are different bonds. Understood? And then there are bonds between this sugar, phosphate and nitrogen base. Understood? There is a force of attraction. That means there is a bond between these two nitrogen bases. Understood? There is a bond between these two nitrogen bases. Then they coil around each other. It forms a double-stranded helix. Hope you have understood. Okay. Now this sugar, phosphate and nitrogen. Sugar, phosphate and nitrogen. It is a single unit. That unit is said to be a nucleotide. Nitrogen base, sugar and phosphate. It is said to be a nucleotide. Understood? So the DNA is made up of many nucleotides. DNA is made up of many nucleotides. Okay, hope you have understood. So what is DNA? DNA is basically made up of sugar, phosphate and nitrogen base. DNA is made up of sugar, phosphate and nitrogen base. Okay. So sugar, which sugar? It is deoxyribose sugar. Phosphate and nitrogen base. Nitrogen bases are of two types, purines and pyrimidines. Nitrogen bases are of two types, purines and pyrimidines. Purines are of two types, adenine and guanine. Pyrimidines are of two types, cytosine and thymine. Okay. So nitrogen bases of two types, purines and pyrimidines. Purines are of two types, adenine and guanine. Pyrimidines are of two types, cytosine and thymine. Now there is a property, a purine always pairs with a pyrimidine. So A always pairs with T. That means adenine always pairs with thymine and cytosine always pairs with guanine. Okay. So if you are having A here, what will be here? Here it will be T. Hope you have understood. A always pair with T. and if you are having G here, it will pair with C. Now you have to note that the bond between A and T is a double bond. If there are 2 lines, it is said to be a double bond, and if there are 3 lines, it is said to be a triple bond. So A double bond T, the AT is a double bond and CG is a triple bond. Okay. Now AT, A always pairs with T and G always pairs with C. Hope you have understood the structure of DNA. This structure of DNA topic is very, very important. Then only you will be able to understand the next part of the lecture. Okay, you may draw this in your notebook. It is not there in this year's notebook, but you may revise this year's textbook. You have to revise it from last year's textbook. Okay, you may copy it. Okay, the next topic is structure of RNA. RNA means ribonucleic acid. RNA is also made up of sugar, phosphate and nitrogen base. The sugar which is present in RNA is ribose, phosphate, and the nitrogen bases are of 2 types, purines and pyrimidines. Purines are of 2 types, adenine and guanine. Pyrimidines are of 2 types, cytosine and uracil. Now you may notice in case of DNA it is thymine, okay, and in RNA instead of thymine it is uracil. This is one difference. Okay, the one difference is in between DNA and RNA is in case of DNA the pyrimidine thymine is present, and in case of RNA the pyrimidine uracil is present. Okay, hope you have understood. One more difference is DNA is double stranded, it is a coiled structure, and RNA is single stranded. Again you may see the strand is made up of sugar, phosphate, sugar, phosphate, sugar, phosphate and so on. To each sugar there is a nitrogen base. Now here it is adenine, here it is uracil, here it is guanine and here it is cytosine. This is uracil, it is U. Okay, U. So instead of thymine there is uracil in RNA. So that is the structure of RNA. RNA means ribonucleic acid. It consists of sugar. Which sugar? Ribose sugar, phosphate and nitrogen base. Nitrogen bases are purines and pyrimidines. Purines adenine and guanine. Pyrimidines cytosine and uracil. Okay. Now the next topic is types of RNA. There are 3 types of RNA: mRNA, tRNA and rRNA. This you had last year. mRNA, tRNA and rRNA. mRNA stands for messenger RNA, tRNA stands for transfer RNA, rRNA stands for ribosomal RNA. mRNA is present in the nucleus, tRNA is present in the cytoplasm, rRNA is also present in the cytoplasm. Now this DNA, the study of structure of DNA and RNA is very important for you to understand the next topic. Okay, the next topic will be taken today. So it is very important for you to read the chapter and understand what is DNA and RNA very, very thoroughly from 9th standard textbook. Okay, I have explained it. Okay. Now, types of RNA: mRNA, tRNA, rRNA. mRNA, messenger RNA, tRNA, transfer RNA, rRNA, ribosomal RNA. This is the structure of mRNA. It is a straight strand. Understood? It is a straight strand. tRNA, it is having a hairpin like structure. Understood? It is having a hairpin like structure like this. It is having 3 sticks there. Understood? It stands for anticodon. Now what is codon and what is anticodon, that we will see in the next lecture. Now in this case this could be A, U, G. Understood? At those positions there are nitrogen bases, purines or pyrimidines. It makes a code. Understood? Okay, so these are nitrogen bases and this will be the amino acid. It is carrying an amino acid at the top. Understood? Okay, now this will carry an amino acid. It transfers amino acids. Okay, it transfers amino acids. And the next is ribosomal RNA, which is exactly responsible for the synthesis of proteins. So rRNA is ribosomal RNA. It looks like this. This is the structure of transfer RNA, and mRNA is a straight strand. That is very important for you to understand the structures. Understood? Now what are the functions of mRNA? mRNA is formed in the nucleus from the DNA, and it carries the information for protein synthesis from the nucleus to the cytoplasm. Okay, so why it has to be carried to the cytoplasm? Because rRNA is responsible for synthesis of proteins. rRNA is the factory. So as rRNA is the factory, to the factory the message has to be taken. Understood? Okay, there is a coding, there is a code which is responsible for the production of a particular material. Here it is a protein. Okay, there is a code for the production of a protein. That code is present in the nucleus. It has to be taken from the nucleus to the cytoplasm. Who takes it? It is taken by the mRNA. Understood? And who brings the raw material? What is the raw material for proteins? It is amino acids. Who brings the raw material? The raw material is brought by tRNA. Okay, and what is the factory? The factory is rRNA. So rRNA and tRNA together makes a protein with the help of mRNA. So as mRNA brings the message, it is said to be messenger RNA. As this tRNA transfers amino acids, it brings the amino acids, it is said to be tRNA. And rRNA is the ribosome itself. Ribosome, it is the organelle which is responsible for the synthesis of proteins. Okay, so it is said to be ribosomal RNA. It is the factory for protein synthesis. Okay, hope you have understood the structure of RNA. So please revise structure of DNA and structure of RNA for the next topic. Okay, so homework for today will be, this is the homework for today. Draw the structure of DNA and explains the types of RNA. You may refer to chapter 16 of 9th standard textbook. Okay, you may read the complete chapter. Even if you don't understand monohybrid cross, dihybrid cross, doesn't matter. But you should be very thoroughly reading structure of DNA and structure of RNA. Thank you.